The fluorescent lights of Meadowbrook Grocery cast their familiar glow as Marcus Williams pushed his cart through the empty aisles at 9:30 p.m. His 7-year-old daughter Emma walked beside him, her small hand gripping the cart's edge, her eyes heavy with sleep. This had become their routine since Sarah passed away 6 months ago, late-night grocery runs when the world felt quieter, less overwhelming for a single father still learning to navigate life without his wife. "Daddy, I'm tired," Emma whispered, leaning against the cart. "I know, sweetheart. Just a few more things, then we'll go home." As they approached the only open checkout lane, Marcus noticed something that made him pause. The young cashier's hands were trembling, not from cold or nervousness, but with the kind of shake that spoke of exhaustion, stress, or something deeper. Her name tag read Lily, and despite her professional smile, Marcus could see the weight she was carrying in her tired eyes. He had two choices: finish his shopping and leave, or ask a simple question that might change everything. As Lily began scanning their groceries, her trembling became more noticeable. When she reached for a glass jar, Marcus instinctively stepped forward, ready to catch it if it fell. "Sorry," Lily said, embarrassment coloring her cheeks. "It's just been a long day." Emma, with the directness only children possess, looked up at Lily. "Are your hands cold?" "My daddy's hands shake when they're really cold." Something flickered across Lily's face, a vulnerability she quickly tried to hide. "Something like that," she whispered. Marcus found himself at a crossroads. He recognized that look, the same expression he'd worn in mirrors during those first terrible weeks after Sarah's death. The look of someone barely holding themselves together. "Excuse me," Marcus said gently. "I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you okay? You seem like you might be going through something difficult." Lily froze, a box of cereal halfway into the bag. The store seemed to hold its breath. Then her carefully constructed mask cracked. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't." She began, tears welling in her eyes. "There's nothing wrong with being human," Marcus said softly. "Sometimes we all need someone to notice when we're struggling." The words came pouring out. Lily's 9-year-old brother Tyler had leukemia. He'd been in the hospital for weeks, and they couldn't find a bone marrow match. She was working double shifts to help with medical bills, surviving on 4 hours of sleep, and felt like she was drowning while trying to save someone she loved. "I don't know what to do anymore," she whispered. Marcus felt his heart clench with recognition. Different circumstances, but the same overwhelming weight of responsibility he'd felt after Sarah's death. "What's your brother's name?" he asked, pulling out his phone. "Tyler. Tyler Patterson." "But why? What hospital?" "Children's Medical Center." Marcus began typing. As a medical equipment consultant, he had connections in the healthcare world. More importantly, he'd learned how to navigate medical bureaucracy during Sarah's illness. "Listen," he said, extending his hand. "I'm Marcus Williams, and this is Emma. We'd like to help, if you'll let us." Lily stared at his outstretched hand like it was a lifeline she was afraid to grab. "You don't even know us." "No, but I know what it's like to feel like you're drowning while trying to save someone you love," Marcus replied quietly. Emma tugged on Marcus's sleeve. "Daddy, can we help make Tyler better?" "We can certainly try, sweetheart." The next morning, Marcus began making calls. Dr. Jennifer Chen, a pediatric oncologist he'd worked with, connected him with Tyler's doctor at Children's Medical Center. Dr. Rodriguez explained Tyler's situation: acute lymphoblastic leukemia, unsuccessful chemotherapy rounds, desperate need for a bone marrow transplant. "There might be something," Dr. Rodriguez said. "A newer protocol that broadens the matching criteria, but it requires additional testing and coordination. It's expensive, about $15,000 beyond what insurance covers." Marcus felt his heart race. $15,000 was significant, but not impossible. More importantly, he knew communities could accomplish remarkable things when they came together. He called Lily during lunch. I talked to Tyler's doctor. There's a treatment protocol that could help, but it needs additional funding. $15,000? Lily's voice was barely audible. I don't have that kind of money. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. What if we started a fundraising campaign? People want to help, they just need to know how. That evening, Marcus and Emma visited Tyler at the hospital. The pediatric ward was both cheerful and heartbreaking, decorated with colorful murals but filled with the quiet sounds of medical equipment. Tyler was smaller than Marcus expected, pale and thin, but his eyes lit up when Emma walked in carrying books and a stuffed dragon. "Are you Tyler?" Emma asked. "I'm Emma, and I brought you stories about brave knights." "I like knights," Tyler smiled, his first genuine smile in days, according to Lily. "Some fight dragons, but in my favorite stories, the knights and dragons become friends and help people together." As Emma settled beside Tyler's bed and began reading, Marcus watched his daughter do something he was still learning, offer comfort without trying to fix everything. Within days, something remarkable began happening. The local news ran Tyler's story, and Marcus's fundraising campaign raised $3,000 in the first weekend. But it wasn't just about money. Mrs. Henderson organized a bake sale. The high school football team collected donations at their next game. Emma's class made get-well cards that covered Tyler's hospital room wall. Dr. Rodriguez began the expanded treatment protocol, coordinating with specialists across the country. The community raised over $22,000, more than enough for all additional costs. 3 weeks later, Dr. Rodriguez called Marcus with life-changing news. "We found a match." Actually, 2 potential matches through the expanded search. Marcus immediately called Lily at the hospital. "They found matches," he said simply. The silence on the phone was followed by Lily crying with relief. "2 of them," Marcus added. The donor, Sarah Mitchell from Oregon, was not just willing but eager to help. She flew in to meet Tyler before the procedure, with Emma there when they first met. "You know what?" Sarah told Tyler. "I'm a teacher, and teachers help kids learn new things. Today, you're going to learn how strong and brave you really are." Tyler looked at Emma. "Will you stay with me?" "I'll be right outside thinking about you the whole time," Emma promised. "And when you wake up, I'll read you the story about the dragon who learned to breathe healing magic." The transplant took 6 hours. Marcus, Lily, Emma, and dozens of community members waited together. When Dr. Rodriguez finally emerged, his smile said everything. The transplant went perfectly. Tyler tolerated the procedure extremely well. "I'm very optimistic about his prognosis." 6 months later, Tyler was not just surviving but thriving. The community that had rallied around his treatment organized a welcome home party at the community center. Tyler, still pale but with bright, living eyes, stood before the crowd. "I wanted to thank everyone," he said in his clear 9-year-old voice. "I know I'm just a kid, but I know that I'm alive because a lot of people decided to care about someone they didn't even know. My sister told me that when I was really sick, she felt like she was drowning. But then Marcus asked her a question in the grocery store, and that question turned into this whole community of people who helped pull both of us out of the water." Tyler's voice grew stronger. "I want to be the kind of person who asks that question when I see someone drowning. I want to help pull other people out of the water too." Marcus looked around the room at faces that had become family through shared compassion. Emma slipped her hand into his, and he realized she had learned something that would shape her entire life. Later, as they drove home, Emma was unusually quiet. "Daddy," she finally said, "I think helping Tyler helped us too. After Mommy died, we were sad and lonely. But when we were helping Tyler, we weren't thinking about being sad anymore. And now we have more people who love us." Marcus realized his 7-year-old daughter had understood something profound. Healing happens not just through receiving kindness, but through giving it. 1 year later, Marcus had left his consulting work to become Director of Patient Family Services at Children's Medical Center, helping other families navigate medical crises. Lily became his assistant director, and together they had helped coordinate care for dozens of families. Emma continued visiting young patients, reading stories, and offering the kind of comfort that only comes from understanding that everyone needs help sometimes. Tyler, now cancer-free, started a support group for siblings of pediatric patients. The story that began with a simple question in a grocery store had rippled outward, touching hundreds of lives and proving that we are all more connected than we know. Because that's how the world changes, one question at a time, one act of kindness at a time, one connection at a time. It starts with noticing someone who needs help. It continues with asking if they're okay. And it grows into something beautiful when people decide that none of us has to carry our burdens alone. Marcus and his family had learned that sometimes, when we reach out to help someone else, we discover that we were the ones who needed saving all along. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to Pure Kindness Stories for more tales of hope and compassion. Share this story with someone who needs to remember that they're not alone, and that sometimes the most beautiful chapters of our lives begin when we're brave enough to ask, "Are you okay?" In a world where you can be anything, choose to be the person who notices when someone is struggling. Choose to be the light when someone else's path gets dark. Your kindness matters more than you know.